Hello, friends. Welcome to Soul Crafting with Tanushree Nugget series, where we invite industry experts, entrepreneurs, and professionals from different walks of life to share their experiences in the world of leadership and business. This series has tips and actionable takeaways for women in active careers and businesses. So, we have today Divya Kalra, co-founder of iCarry.in and ShopHealthy.in in our studio today. Welcome, Divya, to the show.
Thank you, Tanushree. Thank you for hosting
It's
today.
a pleasure to have you on the show, Divya. And thanks. I know you had a very busy schedule through the day, but you have managed to squeeze in this small nugget series in your schedule. Thanks a lot for that. So let me introduce
My
Divya.
pleasure, Tanushree.
Welcome. Divya, so Divya is an IT professional by qualification and a parallel entrepreneur by profession. Over the last 7 years, she has conceptualized, co-founded, and scaled 2 businesses. Prior to that, she had over 20 years of experience in the corporate world, mostly in the US and some in India, in senior leadership roles. So Divya, tell me a little bit about yourself. You had a vast experience in corporate. So what made you switch over towards entrepreneurship?
So what made me switch over was the move to India. I think back in 2008, we moved to India due to our personal reasons. And I continued my corporate life, obviously, for a few more years. But I was a new mom back then. And I realized that going, in Bangalore, I mean, you have to think back then there was no e-commerce in India. There was really no WhatsApp as well. Amazon.in did not exist, and Facebook India was either not existing, I think. So there was really no one place where I could go to buy all the the health products or the organic food items that I needed for my family. And I also have had a lot of personal experiences where allopathy really hasn't worked for me, but a lot of homeopathy and Ayurveda has helped with all my life conditions. So, I mean, all of this came together, and about mid 2012, sorry, Tanushree, hold on. So, in around mid 2012, this idea, the concept was born, where we said, why not have one single place online where we can bring manufacturers across the country to sell all the health products and organic food items that they make. And people don't have to run pillar to post, people can buy it in one-stop shop. So the vision I always had was that this should be like a one-stop shop for all your health and beauty needs. Nothing chemical laden will be sold here. It will be completely chemical free, organic, and that's how we started. But we grew because of customer demands. We grew into a lot of categories across this concept where we had organic food, but then we introduced Ayurveda, we introduced homeopathy. Last year during the pandemic, we also had a customer demand for online health consults. So that is how we've grown. And we've seen many such companies come and go, but thanks to our loyal customers and sellers, Shop Healthy has just kept on going. And I think because of this experience, I have now accumulated enough e-commerce experience to understand the challenges that we faced. Now in 2019, all these sellers who were selling on our platform started saying, you guys are always great at picking up from our locations and delivering it to the customers. Why can't we use your service for our non-Shop Healthy business as well? Can you do something about it? And that is when we put our heads together and we said, let's carve it out as a separate entity. And that is how iCarry.in was born, which is why the parallel entrepreneur term is what I gave you. iCarry.in was carved out as a separate entity in 2019, where we started with our own sellers because they had this logistics need to ship whatever they make to the customers anywhere in India. So we understood the pain points. I myself have gone through enough scaling of pain points, trying to scale up Shop Healthy. So we built around that. And we took a long time to understand, what are the challenges. So our target customers for iCarry actually surprisingly is women. Most women face this challenge where they make stuff from home, right? They make apparel or jewelry, and whenever they want to ship it to the customers, it's a real pain. Even if they find a courier, it's quite expensive. They charge at least 100 rupees to start with.
True.
But we had that bulk relationship going, right? So we had FedExes and deliveries of the world working with us already. So we just used that bulk relationship and said, we will pass on the discounted prices to you. That is how iCarry.in was born. And now I have one B2B and one B2C business going on.
And it's an awesome idea because if a business is born out of a need, you have hit the right space in that area, that you are providing a solution for a problem that is existing, and you already built a solution, and then you found another problem and you extended that resources to that problem too. So it's like, having two birds in one strike. I mean, even handling two businesses is not easy, as I say. But what really prompted you that did you feel that it was easy to switch from the corporate job working style that you were doing to a business? Because sometimes in businesses, the domains that we work in are not organized sectors, whereas our corporate jobs are highly organized. There is a process, there are a lot of people who run the processes, there are departments for each. But when we work as a business, especially a startup, it is not possible for us to have so many processes. So for the benefit of women entrepreneurs, professionals here who might want to take that leap of faith from doing their jobs right now to entering into the field of entrepreneurship, would you like to shed some light on how did you manage that? How did you balance that part?
No, I mean, Tanushree, you're absolutely right. When we are in a corporate life, we have our managers, we have our mentors to look up to for processes, for challenges, for situations where we don't know how to react. But when we are in a business and it's our business, we need to define them from scratch, right?
True.
And I think our experiences over the corporate lives have taught us enough to sit back and think about them and document them. And I think the biggest challenge I personally faced running this business was not just to define the processes, but to delegate something to a team. Because it's my business, I am the most passionate, right? I have the hunger in the belly, but my employee may not necessarily feel that way, right? So I have to not just motivate them. First, I have to learn to let go, right? So to delegate that and then to keep that employee motivated. Business as well, right? So I have to be in both places. So yeah, it's a challenge, and it's not easy, but I think all the years of corporate experience has definitely taught us that. And today we are only able to scale up because we've learned that additional aspects, all of that, that's the only way to scale up. For women who are probably looking to take up entrepreneurship, I would, my nuggets or my takeaways would be, guys, you have to be ready for not one, not two, but at least for the next 7 to 10 years in this journey. And if you're not ready for that kind of a commitment, maybe you should look at it as a side hustle, maybe at that hybrid approach to entrepreneurship, for a little bit until you are convinced that this is a feasible model. That's what I did, so I think that really worked for me. Finally, when I realized that yes, it is feasible and it is something I want to continue growing, I took away the safety net. So I quit the job and I said, I have to give this my 100%. I cannot have my feet in two boats. And that's the only way this will grow. So I think that comes only after you're convinced about the feasibility, right? But yeah, the first few years definitely are the toughest. You will have friends working in a full-time job. They will give you all kinds of advice. You will not really understand the kind of challenges you're facing or the kind of support that you're looking for. You will have to carve that and figure that out on your own. And you may be passionate about your idea, but I think what you also need to understand is, will this idea have that long-term effect? Sometimes I've seen many companies have come, but they've gone because the market has evolved and that problem itself has gone now. It has been solved by somebody else. So that is another aspect you need to either you can accept the fact that maybe I'll remain small, but I'll still have a market. Or, you'd have to then cut the cord when you feel that this is not a real problem anymore, right?
Sure.
So those
Sure.
are the few things I think I would like to share to, for women who are trying to. My tagline, and I have always said this, is when you're starting a new business, you need to know whether this is your bread and butter or this is your jam and cream.
Jam and cream.
Because if it is the latter, then that should be it, and you should be very clear about it. That is my side hustle. It's not my business. It's a hobby, or it's my second source of income, and nothing wrong with that. You can have multiple streams of income.
Right. Absolutely agree with this, Divya, because sometimes we get overwhelmed with things that come to us. And especially, I have been speaking with many women entrepreneurs, leaders, and they say the same thing, that the clarity to walk that path has to be achieved before you start walking that path. Sometimes we do get clarity as we are in that journey, but sometimes, at least for the beginning, 70 to 80% clarity is required. Research your topic well to understand whether there is really a need, or is it just a pseudo need, in the sense that it's just a need temporarily, like you mentioned. Once that need is, was taken care by somebody, it might, if it grows to a second level, then it's okay. You still have the business running over there and catering to the second level. But if yes, it's a short-term thing, then you have to look out what to do next, and being very clear whether it is your bread and butter or your jam and cream makes total sense. And for women, you also mentioned that it will take 5 to 7 years to get yourself stable and steady and moving in that direction. Yes, this is what I have been also saying and sharing with people, that people feel that entrepreneurship is like, nowadays it's becoming too fancy, that I'm a woman
Glamorous.
entrepreneur. Yeah, it's become glamorous that I'm a woman entrepreneur or I'm an entrepreneur. But we have to also understand that whether it's a job or an entrepreneurial journey that you are set in, hard work, time, effort, energy is required in both places. Maybe you will have an opportunity to resilience, yes, and flexibility, that you should be able to move on time. If you have to bend backwards and let that bullet go across without hurting you, or you just have to move from that space and go to another space or move to a next level. And I think women intrinsically have this quality of flexibility and resilience. Like I generally advocate through my energy mastery and mindset programs too, that these are the basic feminine energy qualities. And I'm not saying that only women have this, even men have this. But the only part where we women kind of step back is, we are not, this is a default or an innate energy potential that we have within us. And sometimes we don't explore it enough.
Absolutely.
And like you said, that clarity will come when we have that masculine energy quality of having that clarity to work through, to be meticulous, to do due diligence of whatever project we are taking up, and put it along with that flow, the flexibility, the resilience of feminine energy. It will really work beautifully to, it is also not an easy journey. I think, Divya, I have been talking to so many other women entrepreneurs. Everybody has told me the same thing. We have to manage our home. We have to take care of our kids. We have to do our own personal growth and to run the business. But a woman wants it all.
But I think,
and I feel it should be the case.
No, but I have a strong opinion that women are born multitaskers. We have that ability to do. I think we have the ability to juggle home, work, personal growth, finding the me time, kids, everything. And because we wanted it all, right? We've chosen this path for ourselves. In fact, nobody forced us to do it. It's especially you and me, right?
True.
In fact, I would like to share that, more than 50% of my team is women. Wow. And working from home is a new thing now because of the pandemic, but we've been doing it for the past 7+ years. And they're successfully doing it and managing it and doing well in both fronts. So why not, right?
True. Why not? And yes, maybe it might be not 100% in all areas, but I think there is nothing like,
And that's okay.
an ideal condition or an ideal situation or an ideal space to be in. But even if you
Correct.
get the satisfaction that you intend to from all these areas, I think that's more than
Exactly.
enough. It's like you have won the game there itself.
Yeah, that's fine. Exactly.
My only thought in these kind of situations is that, women expect perfection, uh, that if this is not till this level, then I think I have not done it properly, and that is where they kind of beat themselves down and step back. But how
Mhm.
has been your experience, Divya, about, were you that kind of a person who wanted like it should be perfect everywhere, or is it that you worked with 70 to 80% going, and then 20% you figured out as it went on?
I think we all learn the balance while we doing it, right? We're not. Uh, this clarity comes only after years of being in a certain role. Even when we are working in a corporate job, we have that guilt. I think guilt is the worst enemy, but it's a perpetual state most women are always in. And I've always said it. Whether you work, you have the guilt of neglecting your kids. Whether you don't work, you feel the guilt of not doing anything for yourselves, right?
True, true.
So it's always that nagging guilt that women somehow have. I don't see that in men. And men can really compartmentalize how they work, how they think. It's not personal, it's just business. Women don't have that compartmentalization happening.
No.
So I think even when I was working, I used to feel guilty leaving my kids behind.
Yeah.
Even while doing my business, initially I used to feel, oh, why am I doing this? I'm never available. Because when it's your business, there is no work-life balance. It's work, 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 right?
Right.
But I think after all these years, you kind of learn to give in some. So something has to give. There are days where you say, my kids are a priority and my business has to wait. This meeting can happen tomorrow. It is not critical. And
True.
there are some days where you say the kids are fine. There is nothing majorly wrong. They will be independent, and I need to focus here, right? So yeah, I mean, you learn as you go, and you
Right.
learn to delegate stuff that you really can.
Yes, and I think that is one of the most important points that you pointed out in the beginning, that it is we who don't delegate. It's not that it cannot be delegated. The task is not something that cannot be delegated. Is it like, are we open to delegate and take on the other task which needs more of our attention? So,
Right.
yes, you know, uh, dear viewers and listeners, Divya has pointed out so many important points about saying no when it is required, learning your lessons while you're in the process. Also, it's okay to have a job as your backup while you're side hustling and figuring out what exactly you need. Clarity doesn't come overnight. It takes its own process. It has its own time. So do not get scared to jump into a new area. I'm not just saying entrepreneurship. It could be even in your own professional lives. If there is a comfort zone you want to break out from, try it and go ahead and go all out. Everything can be taken care. Reach for help and find out a good support system which will help you take you through this process. So Divya, thanks a lot for joining us today. It was a really insightful chat with you. And
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me, Tanushi.
thanks for coming. In fact, you have any last message that you want to pass on to our viewers and listeners?
I don't know. I just feel like telling them that entrepreneurship, if that is what you are going after, is different. When we are in a corporate life, we don't really understand the value of a lot of perks that we are used to, like vacations, paid vacations, or insurance. I mean, the basic thing like health insurance itself, right? We take it for granted, but really, when you are doing a business full time, you don't get these perks. So
True.
please be prepared, think it through, talk to a mentor, even if it's someone you trust, even if it's your husband or brother or some woman who has done this before. It's a lonely journey. Okay, so entrepreneurship is not where you have a social outing once in a while, have a cup of coffee. It is a lonely journey. So stay connected with people you really value and network so that you understand what other entrepreneurs are going through as well.
True.
Those are my parting thoughts. I think that's something that I have learned over the years.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Divya. So with
Thank you.
this, we come to an end of today's segment. The links for Divya's business online presence is provided in the description below. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay inspired. Peace, love, and light. Tanushree signing off.